Alright my friends, welcome back. Extra special episode today. I've covered most of this in the video, but you'll see in a minute that I describe it as kid in a candy store day. My wife described it as John's big day out. But I was at a Ford dealer today, and I was there for about 2 hours as a matter of fact, and totally impromptu, I grabbed my phone and I started recording my impressions of some of the latest Ford vehicles. I ended up getting 7 or 8 of them, something like that. And I got to say up front, I hope you enjoy it. This is all impressions, this is all opinions, no test drives, okay? I want to be clear here. I did not take each vehicle with an in-depth look and in-depth quirks and features or a road test on every single one of them. It was simply, I had a chance to really go spend some time, go through all of them over and over and over again and record my opinions of what I think they're doing right, what I think they're doing wrong. No cars, I didn't look at the Mustang, for example. Of course the Fusion's not there, but I did get a chance to see some things in a little more depth, such as the Bronco Sport, and the new Tremor. So I hope you enjoy this, but basically we were at the dealership, we were having our truckster, had some warranty work done on it, and I decided to start recording some opinions of honestly one of my favorite vehicle manufacturers. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think below. Alright, hey my friends, welcome back. So we are out here at Crossroads Ford. This is an Indian Trail southeast of Charlotte. We brought the family truckster in for some service, and it's going to take a few hours, so I decided to be like a kid in a candy store and start looking around. And anyway, I decided I'm going to try to shoot some videos, take some pictures, share it with you. This is our local dealership, honestly, and they take good care of our car. But obviously I'm not prepared. I don't have a microphone, I don't have a selfie stick or a gimbal with me or anything like that. This is just off the cuff, you and me. But I want to show you around the lot here real quick. Look how empty their lot is. I mean, we hear about the shortage of chips and how it's affecting supply, but this is absolutely shocking. Normally this is all full right here. This is customer parking, and then that all over there is full too, and it's just empty. And when you go inside, you'll see it's about half empty there. So this shortage is like for reals. And apparently, I was talking to one of the salesmen in there, it's better than it has been. Holy crap. All right, guys, the first one I want to talk about is this is a 2021 Explorer. And I gotta say, I'm more impressed with it than I thought I was going to be in person. Since the redesign, I haven't had a chance to drive one, but we do own an Explorer. And this thing has been pretty roundly criticized, you know, constantly losing like the Telluride and things like that. But also for being kind of expensive. But there you go. This is a Platinum Edition. There's the price, if I can get it to focus on it. All right, so it's not cheap, but I'm going to tell you what, this thing is really nice. It is much nicer than I thought it was going to be. Start up front, and one of the big criticisms has been the dash, that it's cheaper, it's not as thought out, you know, things don't match up as well. You know, look at that seam right there. It's much more impressive than I thought it was going to be. Maybe a lot of those reviews were early models, and maybe they figured it out in the manufacturing. But this is much nicer than I thought it was going to be. It's got a sunroof. But, you know, I like this. It's not outrageous. I think some of the tablets, the displays have gotten outrageously large. Like I'm going to show you on a Tremor here in a little bit. I like the fact that it still has buttons and knobs. And in fact, my wife, that was the first thing she said. She likes that it still has buttons and knobs, not everything put up here. It's got that, you know, circular gear selector. I'm not a huge fan, but it's a safety feature, as a matter of fact. I'll show you that in a later video on a Fusion. Very standard Ford layout right here. But let me shut the door. I mean, this is really really nice. This is, you know, kind of hard plastic, but it's got this softer level above it with some stitching. It's got this fake, totally unconvincing wood trim right here, but look how tight all that is. So the people who say they mailed it in on the interior, I disagree. I'm not sure it's a Telluride. You know, some things like this right here looks just a little cheap. They're trying for upscale, but it looks just a little cheap to me, even though I don't think it is. It's a really impressive interior. Now, one of the other ones I was looking at, they had more of a silver right here instead of this piano black, and it doesn't look nearly as nice. And I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do, is having the power button right here. On ours, it's a push in. I kind of like this because you just kind of tap it from the top. But let's take a look at the back seat real quick, because this is one of the things that surprised me as well. It's super nice back here. Now that is about where, it's probably a little further back than I would have it. I'm about 5'9". All right, so like an idiot, I apparently stopped the video right when I started getting the back seat. Suffice it to say, I'll show you over my shoulder here, it's super comfortable. Captain's chairs, don't like, seats low down. It's got a third row seat. It's got pretty good leg room because these bad boys actually move back and forth. My only complaint would be with the sunroof. It's got just this about that much headroom. Not great, but not terrible either. All right, next up, I want to talk about the Escape here. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this. I actually had a chance over multiple days to drive one. I hate the front. My wife's like, well, it looks like a car, and that's the point. I don't like how sloped it is. It just doesn't do it for me, but I'm gonna tell you what, it's aged well. After a couple years on the market now, I'm starting to like it, and I like it in the darker colors. I don't like it in the white quite so much. Now this is a titanium, there it is, edition. And I'm going to tell you what, my other big complaint about the Escape has been the interior. The 3-cylinder, when they use that, it's actually really gutsy, a little harsh, but really gutsy. And it's comfortable inside, it's peppy, it rides well, it's got good space in the back seat. Look at this. This is a compact sport utility. That's pretty good space. I think it's well appointed. I think it's a great sport utility. But the interior is what killed me in the one I drove. Now, what I drove was like this white one right here, which is an SEL. Or actually, that's even an SE. So everything's laid out logically. It's ergonomically nice. Got their silly circular gear selector, but everything's just, you know, that's a little soft touch. It's okay, but hard plastics and this right here, it came across so incredibly cheap when compared to, say, the CR-V. So the CR-V is a smoother engine, a smoother ride, and a better interior. Well, they've got this in here. So if you're willing to pay $40,000 for a compact sport utility, check out the titanium. So obviously it's the same dash, but everything is just much richer. You got this fake, very fake, it's plastic, blonde wood right here, but these two-tone seats. Let me hop in. You know, standard Ford, this. Fantastic, gorgeous display. I'm not really pleased with this being sitting up here. I'd prefer it to be more integrated a little bit, but you know, from my eye level, it doesn't block the line of sight at all. They do a good job there. It is cheap. I'm not going to deny that. All right, this is kind of softy touch. This is a little softy touch. This is, you know, it's okay. But it's just a little nicer, and touches like this with the black, with the stitching and the two-tone, this really turns out to be a super nice interior, but it's not a $40,000 interior to me. And that's still the weakness of the Escape. Now, when my wife and I were talking, she's like, you know, why don't you get one? Well, other than I can't buy everything I want, it's the simple fact that I think I could drive this car every day for 10 years and never think about it, because I think the interior looks good. I think it's comfortable. Again, I thought it was peppy and it rode well. I just don't like the looks of it, and I think the interior could be slightly better, you know, like that right there. Just a little, the edge just looks a little harsh, like they just cut it off and gave up. So I don't know, I think there's better options, but again, if I had one, I would drive it, and I think I would be very happy with it for a decade more. I think I'd be thrilled. But that being said, if you're going to spend this kind of money, I think there are perhaps better options. So I wouldn't hesitate to get one. I just think there's options better. Oh, nice. I guess at this price I would expect that. You know, this is good cargo space back here. All right, so that's my thoughts on it, guys. I love it, and I don't. All right, next up, guys, the Bronco. This one's super excited for me. I have not had a chance to actually see one in person, touch it, drive it, sit in it, anything like that. And this is super exciting. I love them. I love the Bronco Sport. I'm obsessed with that, even though it's based on the Escape. I'm obsessed with that right there. But this is, right. So my wife saw it and was like, it's a Jeep. Well, it's not, but that's what it's designed to compete with. It looks like a beast. I gotta say, it in the desirability range of, wow, this is a car you want. This is a beast. So this is what we've got here today. If you can see that. Can't really get it, too much glare here. This is $38,000. No extra markup. Let's take a look inside real quick. You know, there's a lot of things in the reviews I've read of this thing that really, they never really came out. I mean, people have just gushed over this vehicle. And of course, there's some issues we've read about with the top leaking, but like the frameless doors. I guess that's okay. I like it, I guess. But they've really not highlighted some other things. I think people are, this is kind of the vehicle du jour. It's super exciting, and I admit it looks cool as heck. All right, don't get me wrong. But after I've seen it, I don't really like it. And, you know, part of the reason is look how flat the floor is, right? There's no step in, so it's a very straight out position, very much like honestly like a Tacoma. And the other problem is I'm not terribly tall. I have to hop up to get in. So, you know, my leg doesn't even touch the ground when I try to get out. It's okay. It's got good space up front. I love how they put the windows right here, an actual gear shift, you know, a full recognizably Ford steering wheel with the Bronco logo in it. Lots of cool stuff like that. I like the colors, the textures that they're doing here. I like this being integrated. It's not huge, but it's a good size. I guess all that space. Look at that. I love it. Back seat's not huge. It's not terrible. Not huge. But I guess my overwhelming feeling is, well, okay. It's high, it's large, it's alternately expensive and kind of a discount. It's cool, but honestly, I think that would just wear off. Especially hopping in and out every single day. I don't know, guys. I think it's the coolest vehicle on the market right now. I really do. But yeah, it's not for me. All right, next up, this is the Bronco Sport, and this is one of the ones I was most excited to see, other than the actual full Bronco Badlands edition. And of the ones they've got here, like that one over there, I chose this one because it's got a bow on it. I think this looks fantastic. I love it. I know it's based on the Escape. I know it's a unibody, you know, but they've butched it up. They've made it actually capable off-road far more than I'm ever going to do, because I'm not going, you know, truly off-roading. This is awesome. I don't like the color. I don't know what color it is, but I don't like it. But this is the, there you go, Badlands Edition. And, you know, it's a sad world where that's a reasonable price. They are, however, you'll notice. So let's take a look inside real quick. And again, I've been blown away. My big complaint is I love the look. I love the interior. Prices, yeah, it's okay. The thing that kills me is this right here. Seriously. Before we get into the interior, keep this in mind. Let's walk over here real quick. This is a Ford Edge. Now I know it's an old platform, they keep updating it. I think this is one of the best, you know, mid-size 2-row sport utilities out there. I love this car. I have thought about buying one of these, I don't know, for 5 years now. And every time I think through a new car, I end up back at the Edge. But look at this. It gets better gas mileage than the Bronco Sport. Now, I haven't really been homing in on this, but they do give the numbers right there for, you know, you can leave your key behind, the Ford thing. Absolutely love that. It's come in handy a few times, but, you know, kind of half soft touch. Same kind of material I think they're using in the Edge. You know, very, it's making noise at me. I don't know why. But see right here, I slide in. I don't have to step up, so it's nice and low. This is perfect. You know, that's hard plastic. That's a little soft. That's hard. So it's a nice mix of materials that come together. Not a lot of color variation. You know, if you can see right here, we've got hard plastic, kind of softy plastic with this piece of plastic right here. You know, I like this. I'm not sure I'd get the Badlands Edition, but I like this a lot. Now this is approximately, here we go, let me move it forward a little bit. Ooh, rocks. This is approximately where I would sit. Steering wheel, I think, needs to be moved back a little bit. So let's take a look at the rear seat real quick. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, so I might have to move it and the steering wheel forward quite a bit. Okay, once you get back here, it's not half bad. I'm touching, but it's really padded. I like this little pocket right here. You know, not much to the doors, just a door. Something, it keeps making noise. This thing's haunted. You know, you get a fold down right here. We'll look back there in a minute. I do love, they've got the vents back here for the back seat passengers. This is a small little vehicle. This is tighter than I thought it was going to be. You know, I think a more basic one, honestly, would be more my speed. And this is kind of narrow right here. Like, if I'm just sitting here, I hope I'm getting this. Like, your foot catches. It's tight, guys. It's a little tight. But in terms of style, I think it's awesome. Okay, I have to lift it myself. Now for $38,000, I guess you have to do things yourself. Good space, good square space back here. I like this with the, you know, save me some money from buying WeatherTech. Nice. Nice. Big, chunky handles. I don't know, I kind of dig it. For style, absolutely this. For efficiency, absolutely that Escape over there. Tough choice. And I think, honestly, on for this kind of price range, I think the Escape's interior is a little nicer, but not as butch, honestly. All right, next up we have got a Tremor. This thing is bad ass, guys. Way more truck than I need. My wife's the F150 fan, and even she's like, ooh, probably more than I need. You know, I don't know what to say about this thing, man. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And they've got I think 3 of them in here. They've got this one, they've got this silvery one right here, and they've got another one over there. It's like green, something like that. But you know, look, I'm gonna turn this around. Hope you can see me. All right, so I'm 5'9"-ish. Look where the bed on this thing comes to, right? I mean, I talk about trucks having gotten so big, they're outrageous. And look at this. I can't even reach the bottom, you know? So, great truck, but when are we going to have a movement to make trucks decent sized, reasonably sized for average people? You know, you have to be 7 feet tall to reach into the back of that thing. And then you've got a Super Duty right next to it. But, you know, gosh, guys, this is so impressive. You know, interesting mix of materials, but I like the little bright work right there. I do love that Ford does this. It's a nice interior. It is not, gotta have a step to even get into it. It's not a Dodge, I'll be honest with you, but this is a huge step up. Very Ford. I like the chrome rimmed. You know, not sure I love this, actually. I guess they've got to do something, but I like that textured hard plastic right there. This is hard. There's very little soft materials except for right here. And, you know, one of the things we were looking at is you look at like that Explorer, and the seats look roughly the same size, maybe a little bit wider, but then you've got this huge, gigantic, like there's extra space. They just had to fill in with stuff. It's huge. You know, if this is your thing, more power to you. You know, I love you. Thanks for being here on the channel. But this is an example of how trucks have just gotten so ridiculously large, which is why they cost $62,000, $68,000. The average price of a truck right now in America, last I read this morning, was $56,000. But look at the size of this right here. This is super, super comfortable. This is incredible. And look at all the space you get back there. This is a badass vehicle, guys. Excuse my French. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. That'll affect my monetization. But this is a awesome vehicle that I alternately... Look, I can't even get back far enough to get the whole thing in the picture. This is alternately an awesome vehicle that I absolutely love. Sorry about that. I'll go ahead and remind you that I'm doing this on the fly with my phone without any equipment and no microphone. So, and it also represents exactly, I think, what's wrong with full-size trucks in America. Now, this is the last one I'm doing here. No, I think I'm gonna do that Edge in a minute, but this is a nice way to close because that's a super, super nice vehicle. Before we go, let's look at one thing. I think this is ridiculous, but you know, that's just all style right there. Now, part of me wants to say, that's ridiculous. The other part of me says, you know, that's what that 3.5 liter EcoBoost does for you in a 10-speed automatic. Gets you gas mileage that's not utterly atrocious. All right, guys, so last one here I think that I've got to do is this Ford Edge. Now, I love the Edge. I think it's a forgotten vehicle in the market because it's an older platform, but they keep refreshing it. Better engines, new style, new interiors, and it's a great use of space. It's not great on gas mileage. That's one of the things that has kept me from buying it. It's okay, but you know, SEL, What I love about it is the proportions. It's a little stubby. They didn't try to lengthen it to make it a 3-row. That's where the Explorer fits in. I love the proportions of it. I like the bustle. I think this thing has gotten better looking with every single generation. but because it's older and people are moving to hybrid electrification stuff, it's been kind of forgotten, and I think that's a shame. I've looked at these for years. I've considered them for years. My wife considered one. We considered one before we got the Explorer. And what I like is it's slide in height. I don't have to step up into it. The interior's all right. It smells in here. Somebody broke some potpourri or something. But, standard Fordish steering wheel, but a little shape right there. This does look like they kind of had a previous dashboard and then stuck a tablet in the middle of it. It's not terribly holistic. Yeah, that just feels like an area that dirt's going to get trapped in. But overall, I like it. It rides good. It's comfortable. It's okay fuel efficient. It just has enough detriments that it feels slightly old. That dashboard is so long. It feels like you could be forward further, but then you've got this A-pillar to deal with. The materials are, it's somewhat soft touch. A little bit of bright work. It's got the technology. It's got their fancy, not gear shifter, right? Not the lever. They've got the circular one. It's got a little bit of buttons. New infotainment system. It's a good looking car, and it's got good space all back there. I'll show you that in a minute. There's my water bottle. I guess this is where you'd stick your phone, or there. That's where I'd put it. That's where I put it in my car. Overall, it has been updated and stretched, but I do think that I wonder what they're going to do next, because you've got the Pilot out there and you've got other newer sport utilities coming. I feel like this is, the end of this platform, and it's kind of a shame. And I don't know why I don't ever buy one. And honestly, it's because it's always more than I want to pay, even if I buy used. And then it doesn't get the best gas mileage, which is why I don't have a mid-size sport utility to begin with. But if I was to buy a mid-size sport utility, this is one of my top ones. Now, when we came here and we're looking around at everything else, my wife walked to this and was like, why don't you get this? This is what she thinks is perfect for me. I don't need the third row. It's upscale enough. It's comfortable. It's quiet. It rides great. We love this vehicle. Honestly, it's super hard to get back up. But look, that seat was largely, oh, that's comfy. Ooh, largely where I would have it. And there's my space, right? Couple vents right here in the center. Nothing special. A little bit of bright work. But, I'm not sure I like the black interior. That's a little much for me. But I think this is a great vehicle. I think this is an underappreciated vehicle. I mentioned earlier over there about one of the tests I do is for headroom. And hopefully you can see this. Hope I get it. Look at this. I can put my whole fist up here, and it doesn't even touch. So this, whoa, sorry about that. So this is fantastic. And then let's see here. Yep, hard to do. Okay, there we go. And it's got really good space. It's bigger than the Escape, or certainly that Bronco Sport right there, just because it's deeper right here. Cubby. This is nice. I like the light back here. That's nice. Let's look under here. Yep, spare, little storage. A couple of tie downs back here. Again, I have trouble arguing with my wife that this is probably exactly what I need. She thinks something like that or the Escape is too small. I don't need something the size of an Explorer. I don't need a Tremor. We are undecided as to whether I need a truck like the Maverick. And so we come back to this right here. And so when you think about the Chevy offerings, certainly Toyota, the Pilot, or even what Volkswagen is coming out with, it's hard to argue with this right here. I love the Edge. Absolutely love the Edge, guys. Oh, and I've just got to say, take a look around here. This is a huge dealership. It really is. I showed you outside, but look at this empty space. Look at empty space there. Look at all this empty space right here. This, you know, a year ago, year and a half ago, was packed with cars. Those parking lots were packed with cars. What really shocked me is this whole area back here used to have cars lined up one after the other. That's the effect of the pandemic and the chip shortage, and it applies on the other side. Other than, you can also see, like on the Tremors, they actually are doing a market adjustment of $5,000. Other vehicles like these that I'm looking at, they don't have that, so apparently it's just the top of the line, most in demand of the... All right, guys, so that's it. I've shown you. Here's more empty space back here where they don't have cars to actually put in them. That's what the pandemic's doing. It's absolutely shocking to me to be here and see this. I've been to some dealerships, and this is one of the worst I've seen, and which is interesting because this is one of the largest dealerships. Maybe that's why it's more noticeable. These guys do a ton of volume, and they're really impressive. I appreciate them enduring me out here doing some quick hits. Maybe one day I'll start doing reviews out here. I don't know. I need to partner with them. But you'll notice the one thing I didn't do, the Maverick. I have been keeping an eye on it, and individual dealerships get individual ones, and then they're instantly gone.